Hey guys, this is the King of Weebs here. I want you all to go and follow me on Twitter and also join my Discord to ask me questions for my Q&A video on the 11th. And I hope you will all enjoy this new part to this What If. And let's get right into it. Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weebs here, and I will be continuing What If Naruto was in the anbu. So this is What If Naruto was in the anbu part 4. Last time we left off with Naruto returning to the stadium and he collapsed with all his clones all poofed, and he collapsed because he was out of chakra, and then Kakashi is like, "Hey Naruto, are you alright?" And then Naruto, before he completely fainted or he was fully knocked out, he's like, "The third Hokage," because Kakashi wasn't really paying attention to him much, since there were he had to protect everyone in the stadium from the other ninjas that were attacking it, and he looks there and he sees that the third Hokage is basically having the key the Kusanagi blade impaled. He was impaled by the Kusanagi blade, and then he, out of nowhere, the third Hokage collapses, and Orochimaru's hands become purple, and he's confused. And basically, the Sanfo knock out a few Anbu that were there, and they take Orochimaru and run away. And Kakashi must have realized that Orochimaru's hands must have got sealed, because nobody's hands go like that, and the third Hokage didn't die just from the he knew that the first Hokage was could have kept going, but there was something that was holding him back, and plus he wasn't moving. He was just holding a position with his hands in a seal, and he realizes that that must have been the Reaper Death seal. And now we skip to 1 week later. Naruto has woken up from his slumber, and he is next to Kakashi, and Kakashi is talking to Jiraiya, and Jiraiya's like, "Look, he woke up." And Naruto's like, "What happened? All I remember is telling father about the third Hokage." And then Kakashi cuts him off and like, "The third Hokage has passed on. The funeral will be held tomorrow morning. If you want to come, you can." And Naruto inside, he is literally dying, because he knew he could have done more. He was in the anbu and he wasn't able to protect his own Hokage, and he's really angry at himself. So he says, he was like, "God damn it, I couldn't even protect my Hokage." And Jiraiya and Kakashi are like, "Don't worry, Naruto. It was not your fault. We actual shinobi went there to protect the third Hokage. It's not your fault, Naruto. You shouldn't put yourself down like this." And Naruto's like, "No, I could have helped. I was in the anbu for a reason." And then Jiraiya and Kakashi are like, "Hey Naruto, do you get a rest? Tomorrow morning you have to wake up early." And Naruto's like, "Alright," because it was around like the afternoon, and Naruto had, let's say, lunch, and then he went to sleep, and he woke up for dinner. He had dinner, basically had ramen twice, and he went back to sleep. The next morning he woke up and he was going to the Hokage's funeral, and he sees Konohamaru. He doesn't know who Konohamaru is, since he wasn't there to meet him. Konohamaru bumps into him, and Naruto's like, "And who are you, kid?" And Konohamaru's like, Don't call me kid. I'm the third Hokage's grandson." And he was crying, and Naruto didn't really know what to do here, since he's not good with kids, and he is not like someone that anyone should depend on him if they're sad, because he's pretty much sad he's been sad his whole life. And so Naruto decides to hug him and says, "Maybe it's the best thing to do, and because he's always been craving a hug from someone, and because he's never been hugged, you know what I mean, because he was alone his whole life. And Naruto's like, it's gonna be fine, don't worry. In fact, I'll help you out. And Naruto took him to the Hokage's funeral, and Naruto was actually angry at himself, but he decided to not get himself down, since he did promise Konohamaru to help him as well. And then, after the funeral's over, Jiraiya comes and says, "Hey Naruto, I've been offered to become the fifth Hokage." And Naruto's like, "Are you being serious? And what did you say?" He's not like the other Naruto, the old Naruto, and he's actually more like the apathetic one. And Naruto's like, "Well, what did you say?" And Jiraiya's like, "I declined." And Naruto's like, "Why would you?" And Jiraiya's like, "Well, you see, I'm not qualified to become a Hokage, and plus I have someone in head that's is much more qualified than me and would be a better fit." And Naruto was wondering who could be a better fit than a legendary Sannin other than another one. And he's like, "Don't tell me you want to go after Tsunade." And since Naruto has learnt about Tsunade, and that she hasn't been in the village for like nearly a decade or something, and Jiraiya's like, "Yeah, she's the most qualified one." And Naruto's like, "Do you really think you can get back? You can bet you. Do you really think you can go and get Tsunade when she hasn't returned to the village in more than a decade or something?" And Jiraiya's like, "Tsunade might not like the village, but she doesn't hate it, and and she will come back to the village if they need her." And Naruto's like, "Alright, so where can we find her?" And Jiraiya's like, "Oh, so you've already deduced that I want to take you?" And Naruto's like, "Yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't you take me?" And Jiraiya's like, "Yeah, you are my god. I mean, yeah." He says, "You are my god. God's. I mean, my student." Yeah. And Naruto's did hear that first big gods, and he's like, "What do you mean by gods?" And then Jiraiya's like, "Oh no, I just got confused a bit." And Naruto's like, "Why would you get confused with student and gods?" And then Jiraiya is like, "Naruto, do you really want to know what I was going to say?" And then Naruto's like, "Yeah," but then Jiraiya's like, "If I tell you, you cannot get angry at me, you cannot do anything to me, you cannot decline the offer anymore." And Naruto's now kind of confused on why is he asking this. And while this is all happening, Kisame and Itachi enter the village undetected, and they're roaming around. But Kakashi does find out, and he does go with Kuronai. Well, he does try to confront them alone, and then Kuronai and Asuma arrive, and the same things happen here. And then Naruto, while this is all happening, Naruto is told that basically Jiraiya is his godfather, and his father gave him the role to become his godfather in case he died. And Naruto's like, "Well, I'm not going to get angry, but I'm going to ask a lot of questions first. Why weren't you there when I needed you the most? Second, uh, what were you doing? Third, if you're my godfather, do I have a godmother? And third, what have you been doing these past years while you weren't here to look after me?" And Jiraiya's like, "Hey, slow down the questions. I've been doing a lot of things these past years. For example, trying to find Orochimaru so he wouldn't attack the village since the last time he left. He did declare that he's going to attack it, and you know what happened." Then Naruto's like, "Fair enough, but now tell me why." So that answers three of my questions. Well, two of my questions. Why weren't you here when I needed you most, and what were you doing? And then he's like, "So do I have a godmother?" And Jiraiya's like, "Well, you see, I did try to ask Tsunade out when I was young, but she rejected me, and I haven't been able to ask anyone else ever since. And every time I do, anytime I see her, really, I've probably seen her like once in the past 12 years. I did try, but she rejected me again, saying I'm not good enough, and I gave up afterwards in love. And then Naruto's like, oh, so that's why you're a pervert now. And Jiraiya's like, oh, never. That I've been doing research since I was a young teenage boy. And Naruto's like, oh, so you were always perverted. I see. And Jiraiya's like, hey, I'm not technically perverted. It's literally for my book. And Naruto's like, yeah, whatever. And then out of nowhere, a shinobi arrives as well. Let's say a chunin says, oh, Master Jiraiya, the Kakashi and a few other jonins were in a fight against Itachi and some other dude from the mist. I think his name was Kisame, and they were wearing black cloaks with red clouds on it, and they declared themselves as the Akatsuki. Then Jiraiya's eyes widen. He knows the Akatsuki. He's been hearing rumors about them, and that they do jobs for money, and they say that they want to capture all the tail beasts. So he knows that Naruto is one of the targets, and says, hey, you look after Naruto, and I'll go and check it out. And Naruto's like, hey, isn't it safer for me to go with you, since you're stronger than this Chunin? No offense to you, but it's true. And the Chunin is like, no, I would never say I'm stronger than Master Jiraiya. And Naruto respects that this Chunin isn't disrespectful, unlike someone he knows, not a Chunin but someone else like Sasuke, disrespectful little piece of doo doo. And he goes with Jiraiya, and Jiraiya and Naruto arrive to see Kakashi on the floor, and Kisame, and then he sees Kisame and Itachi with their backs turned, starting to jump away. Well, body flick away, and they got away. And Jiraiya's like, hey, Kakashi, are you okay? And then Guy says, my rival, what are you doing on the floor? You're not usually like this. And then Jiraiya's like, wait. And he realizes that Kakashi's in a coma, and says, we really need Tsunade. I don't think anyone can cure this. And Naruto and Jiraiya do head out on by the end of the week, and that's when Sasuke wakes up and is told about, well, let's say a day later, when Naruto was Naruto was learning the Rasengan, yeah? So he already mastered the first step, so the water balloon. Now he's on the air balloon. And let's say it's been like 2-3 days, and he's in a hotel room trying to do it on his own. And then he gets a knock on his door. While this is all happening, Sasuke is stalled, and Sasuke just heads out trying to find Naruto. Where did he go? So he went to the closest town, thinking he might find him in a hotel or something. And he sees that Naruto is fighting Kisame and Itachi. Now, I'll tell you what Naruto did. Naruto did feel a lot of chakra coming from the back of that door. So what he did is that he made a shadow clone and attached 4 exploding tags to it. And he said, he attached it on the back underneath his shirt. And he said, you go out and check out what they are doing, who they are, and if they attack you, they're just going to get hurt. And the clone's like, yeah, you're right. And so Naruto opens the window and jumps out, and as soon as he hears an explosion, he looks through the hole in the roof ceiling, because he made one, and he saw that Kisame actually absorbed the blast, and Itachi just protected himself. He doesn't know how. And then he hears Sasuke's voice screaming out, Itachi, I'm going to kill you. And then he sees Itachi strangling Sasuke, with Sasuke's Chidori being nullified by Itachi. And now he decides to to try to help Sasuke, but Kisame has already noticed him, and he's like, you're not gonna get in the way. And not like purple lightning, but Kisame absorb it with Samehara. And Itachi does put Sasuke in a coma and says, "You're just too weak, little brother. You don't have enough hatred." And then out of nowhere, another hole breaks through the window breaks, and then Jiraiya arrives and he says, "Toad mouth jutsu," and then uh, Kisame and Itachi do escape by Itachi burning the mouth and opening a hole. So they escape, and Jiraiya just stops the jutsu, and then Might Guy appears and says, "I have come here to get back Sasuke. May you guys know where he is? I've seen a bit of exploding in here." And Jiraiya's like, he's there, but he's been put in a coma by Itachi Uchiha, just like Kakashi did. And Naruto's like, well, it's his own fault for even attacking someone that most when our own teacher couldn't kill him. Why is he so ignorant? Why? And he's pondering to this, but then he's like, well, whatever. Hey, Bushy Brows Sensei, how about you take him back? He's just gonna get in the way of me and Jiraiya finding Tsunade. And then guys like, my name is Mike Guy, but I was here for that reason anyway. So I hope you all take care, and I'm going. And he went. So Naruto says, how we meant to fix this building? And they're like, it's not our fault. We got attacked, and we were just protecting ourselves. And if we didn't protect ourselves, we could just say that they came here to kill everyone in this town, and they'll let us off. Jiraiya's kind of thinking ahead, and Naruto's like, you're pretty good at deception, just not too good. And Jiraiya's like, well, I don't try to deceive people like that Snake or Orochimaru. And Naruto's like, well, ninjas do have to deceive people to complete missions, you know that. And Jiraiya's like, that's not how I think of a ninja. My ninja way is my dream is to find peace in this world. I know there's peace. We just need to find a way to achieve it. And Naruto says, well, my goal was just to become the strongest. But this has changed me. Your goal is so noble, and it's pure in some sorts. And Naruto says, my new goal is to become the strongest and become the symbol of peace. Yes, I'm taking that from My Hero Academia, but who cares? So Jiraiya is like, what do you mean by symbol of peace? And Naruto's like, you see, everyone pretty much hated me when I was a kid, and I want to show them that I bring peace, and I want to show them that I'm not the demon that they think I am. And Jiraiya's really happy to hear this, because he can see Naruto changing from the cold-hearted Naruto into a warmer Naruto. But whenever he's with Naruto, he does give him a sense of killing. And now we skip like a few days. Naruto has mastered he finished the second step, and he's now training for the second step. I mean, to complete the Rasengan, and he's actually really close to it, much closer than the original, since he is a Naruto who has been trained as a kid, and he knows how to train a lot and much more efficiently, and how to get more out of his training. So when Naruto hears Tsunade making fun of all the Hokage, except the third Hokage, he doesn't get too angry at this. But then when she brings up the third Hokage and says, that fool, even at that age, he still tried to be the Hokage, and look what happened to him. And that just ticked off Naruto and says, you old hag, you're not too younger than him, you know. How about we take... And then Tsunade's like, who are you calling old? And Naruto's like, you grandma. And Tsunade's like, how about we take this outside? And Naruto's like, Naruto's like, yes, okay, let's go. And Jiraiya's like, oh no, Naruto, you're going to get annihilated. And Tsunade's like, I'm going to beat you with one finger, which is basically her underestimating Naruto way too much. And Naruto starts off by doing a clone and attacking, and Tsunade literally destroys the clone with one finger, and he realizes maybe this Tsunade is much stronger than him. And this Naruto wouldn't do that, but the if Naruto was still in the anbu, but the root is completely gone, he wouldn't do that, and he would try to be more tactical about it. And what Naruto does is basically he's in an angered state, so he can't really see what he's doing, and then he's like, I don't need clones, I only need this one jutsu, and he says, and he starts making a Rasengan on his own. He does still need a clone, but he doesn't know about it yet, about the clone making the Rasengan for him and him just controlling it, and he just tries it on his own. It actually is pretty close, but Tsunade is able to break the ground and make him fall to his face, and Rasengan disappears. And uh, Tsunade's like, what have you been teaching this kid, Jiraiya? Are you a fool? Someone like him who will never learn that technique. And then Naruto's like, you old hag, who are you calling someone like him? Do you know who I am? And Tsunade's like, yes, someone who got beaten by me with one finger. And Naruto's like, who said I'm done? And then Tsunade's like, wait, what? And Naruto charges at her, and Tsunade decides to put Naruto down because he's just going to be a pest. And she punches him in the gut so hard, Naruto literally spews out a bit of blood. And she's like, that's too far, Lady Tsunade. And Tsunade's like, we needed to put this kid to sleep. And Naruto is now knocked out, and then she throws him to Jiraiya and says, don't teach that kid anything else, Jiraiya. Do you know how hard it is to master that technique? And they thought Naruto was fully knocked out, but what they didn't know is that Naruto does wear protection underneath his clothes, and it's like, do you really think I got knocked out from that weak punch? And Tsunoda's like, you call that weak, but look at your state right now. And Naruto's like, shut up, I will master this technique. And before Tsunade goes, she decides to make a bet, and she says, if you can master this technique in 1 week, I will give you this necklace and I will come back to the village to be the 5th Hokage. But if I win, you leave me alone. And Naruto's like, you got a bet. And Jiraiya's like, I believe you, Naruto. And Naruto's like, I'll master this in 1 day, which is impossible. He keeps trying on his own for like the first 3 days, and then he realizes that on his own he'll never be able to do it. But he tries one more time, and he's really close this time, but he's out of chakra. So once he hits the tree, is just his palm slapping the tree, and he's like, damn it, and he collapses. And Tsunade in these days, she was found by Orochimaru like on the 3rd day, and she was asked, and she decides to ask Jiraiya about it at night, and she goes out, and Shizune is searching for her since Tsunade hasn't been home to the hotel room in like 3 days, and she's like, maybe she's drunk somewhere, and she's trying to search for her until she sees Naruto on the floor. And well, she first sees Naruto training, and his last move, I just slapped the wall, and Naruto fainting, and she goes to Naruto and sees that Naruto's completely drained out chakra, and she doesn't know where his hotel room is, so she takes him to her hotel room with Tsunade. Well, Tsunade's not there. She heals him up a bit because Naruto had a few minor injuries, and Naruto's resting while Tsunade comes back after poisoning Jiraiya, and not fully poisoning him to kill him, just to stop his chakra. And then she comes to the hotel room, and she sees Naruto lying there, and she's like, what's he doing here? And Shizune is happy to see Naruto, and she's like, where have you been? And well, to see her, and she's like, where have you been, Lady Tsunade? And Tsunade's like, I've been doing some work. And Shizune is like, you doing work? And Tsunade's like, oh, I meant making bets. And Shizune is kind of suspicious because Tsunade's not drunk as usual. When she comes back, she's usually drunk or in a bad mood because she lost a bet or something. And she's like, did anything happen? And Tsunade's like, no, let me quickly heal Naruto though. And Shizune sees Tsunade healing Naruto, and Then Tsunade's like, go to sleep, Shizune. I'm gonna go sleep too soon. And Shizune's like, alright, Lady Tsunade. And she goes to sleep. And Tsunade starts heading out after healing Naruto. She basically says, wow, this kid has really been trying. And she's like, maybe he really does remind me of a bit of my little brother, because Naruto doesn't say he wants to become Hokage, but he says he wants to be the strongest. And he didn't have the same smile, but once she was leaving after making the bet, Naruto's like, believe it, with a smile on his face. And that just reminded her of her boyfriend and her little brother. So she left, and in the morning, wakes up to see Naruto all healed up and Tsunade being gone. So she wakes up Naruto and asks, "I'm sorry, but did you see Tsunade?" And Lady Tsunade, Naruto's like, "Wait, where am I?" And that just answers the question, because Naruto doesn't even know where he is. So Tsunade must have not woken him up. And then Jiraiya appears out of nowhere, uh, on the balcony, and he knocks and says, "Oh, it's Tsunade. She is going to see Orochimaru." And he explains to them that that Tsunade asked him for advice if she should go or not. And I believe, and uh, Jiraiya believes that Tsunade won't go to Orochimaru, but she's going to go and kill Orochimaru, because she did say there is a possibility of killing Orochimaru because he's in his weaker state, and this is their best chance. But Jiraiya's like, no, we don't know what Orochimaru is hiding. So Tsunade didn't really like the answer. It's like, alright, whatever. Oh, sorry, I touched my mic. It makes sounds when I touch it. And she says, anyways, good night. And then once Jiraiya tried to body flicker into his hotel room, he realized that he couldn't. And he realized that she must have poisoned him. And then them three go to Orochimaru. First, Jiraiya is not able to summon his toad, so he has to fight Orochimaru on his own with Shizune, while Naruto did stop Kabuto from stabbing Tsunade, since she was in her weaker state there. And Naruto's like, don't you dare hurt the fifth Hokage. And then he already had a clone made, and Rasengan came out of his hand and literally annihilated Kabuto. And then Naruto says, I'm not done there, and he says purple lightning and literally paralyzes Kabuto. But Kabuto is able to heal up a bit, and he's able to move again, while Naruto is completely out of chakra. Since he wasn't fully healed, Tsunade healed his injuries, but she can't heal someone's chakra and make it return faster. So Naruto's chakra is still gone. And here, from here on out, the fight goes the same, and Tsunade does give the necklace to Naruto and kisses him on the forehead, and the same things happen here. And that's where I'm going to end it off. The next part is going to be the Sasuke retrieval arc. Tsunade has returned to the village, and I'll be talking about the rooftop fight and the Sasuke retrieval arc next part, and maybe even a bit of Shippuden. But for now, it's this is where I'm going to end it off. So the like goal for the next part, I'm going to reset the like goal. I'll say I'll make it a bit high, since I have a few more videos to make. I'll say 50. No, I'll say 35 likes. You know what? Let's make it 45. 45 likes for the next part. I hope you all enjoyed it. Anyways, please take care, stay safe, and peace.